I was so excited to do this review because this caught me completely off guard. I did not have the Notorious Talker on my list for animes that I wanted to review. This is a super sleeper anime that was caught in the background at the end of 2024, but it needs its shine. This shonen is about Noel, a kid who is the most battle-tested killer of a grandpa, Overdeath. He has fallen in the shadows, but he is slowly but surely making his way in the known universe of being one of the top seekers of all time. If you're the grandson to the most notorious killer of all time, that's cool enough for me to watch it, so let's dive into it. So, the opening scene, we get to see Noel and his grandfather. Long story short, his grandfather dies, and now he is obsessed to become the strongest seeker and talker, and to have the hardest clan of all time. So, there are many different powers that you can have in this anime. You can be a talker, which is the weakest, and that is what Noel is. You can be a seeker, a scout, a long swordsman, and much, much more. Noel, being the talker on paper, is the weakest and has the weakest ability of them all. However, the deeper you go, you see that he is truly a general, and the talker is a general. He can essentially sit in the back and shout out commands or whisper into his comrades' ears and order them to be stronger and to amplify attacks. So he is the one looking top down. He is the commander in chief in his clan. The second ability that we come into contact with, well, technically they're all seekers, but the second ability that we come out is a scout. It is a super cool ability, and his number 2 currently possesses it. Her name is Alma. She also comes from a legendary legacy, as her grandpa was the most infamous assassin of all time. Her grandpa never lost a fight. Well, except to one person, Overdeath. That's right. The only person that her grandpa ever lost to was Noel's grandfather, Overdeath. This right here sets into motion for a really good anime. So we have 2 legendary grandparents, and the grandchildren are essentially carrying the sins of their grandfathers. So once we come into contact with Alma, she hunts down Noel, and she is destined to join his clan. She even says becoming a member of the strongest clan to be side by side by the baddest person to ever live's grandson, and he wants to see if she's worthy. So these 2 are introduced together, and by the end of episode 2, their relationship is cheeky and has a little bit of comical banter. Now listen, this man Noel is not to be played with, even though he is a talker. Y'all have heard of the Encyclopedia of Serial Killers, right? Well, this man has mastered it and made it his own. If these are the psychopaths that people know, and the Encyclopedia of Serial Killers is the Bible, Noel has the King James version of it. He has studied all the greats, Yuichi, Light Yagami, Ayan Nakoji-san, and other psychopaths, and he is well destined to be in that same category. To paint a picture, in the opening episode that we see of Noel, he is getting his footing with his new clan, the Blue Beyond. In this team of 4, he is of course the talker, and everybody is looking down upon him. Well, essentially 2 of the 4 members end up betraying him and stealing all of their loot due to a crippling gambling addiction, and the leader is the one who stole it. This man, Noel, didn't bat an eye. He came up with a plan, hired some guys, used his intuition to know that his 2 former comrades did not get that far, found them, made them beg, exploited their plan, made them confess to stealing all of the loot, and then sold them into slavery for more money that he had lost in the first place. Pure diabolical. So he sold the 2 who stole money from him into slavery, and then the 3rd teammate, who was an innocent bystander, he kicked him out of the clan. He is truly a demon. This anime is great, and you see how smart and front forward thinking Noel is. You have to have that drive that can't be taught. It definitely has to be inside of you. His only goal is to be the leader and the boss by any means necessary. Another thing, he doesn't carry a sword. He carries a pistol, so that's definitely points on the board for me. So as we fast forward, and it's just him and Alma, throughout their adventures, they end up bringing on a swordsman, Koga. This will be the 3rd addition to their clan. After mistaking him for a bum, he ends up finding out that Koga was a slave and very passive. Well, as you know, Noel does not have time for losers on his team, only wolves, and he calls Koga out on that. After a series of events, he ends up winning Koga his freedom. He tells him that he is a free man. Koga sees the determination in his eyes, and he sees that Alma's not one to be played with. So he joins up, and they become the big 3. Low key though, after doing all this collection and finishing this anime, I feel like Noel is very similar to Ayano Koji. Alma and Koga are very loyal to him, but I think that he sees them as pawns in a bigger game, and we know Noel will sacrifice them as soon as it fits him best. It's crazy how dark and diabolical this man is. All he wants to do is have the hardest clan and to succeed his grandfather. And I see one of the most diabolical plots I have seen in a long, long time. This man Noel is truly the epitome of evil. So as we start to close in on the end of the season, we see that Noel is ready to bring his guys up into a gang. With that being said, he has to get permission from the guild, and essentially he has to beat out another guild. Well, here comes the ultimatum. Noel's clan and one other clan, which is called the Winged Knights, they have to have a strong 4v4 battle together, and whoever wins, that is the one who will be validated by the guild and will have the new clan. So of course, there can only be one winner. Well, listen to this diabolical shit. The night before the big battle, Noel comes to each one of the 4 Winged Knights and tells them that their leader, Leo, will betray him, that their leader is infallible. They plant the seeds and it plays dividends tenfold. Like, what in the actual hell? The plan comes to fruition. Keem, which is the number 2 in charge of the Winged Knights, knives their leader Leo in the gut. The scene is very emotional and drawn out. You definitely have to pay attention to how Noel plants the seeds. At this time, Noel and his gang, they're just sitting out there eating sandwiches, hanging out. And as soon as they hears this sound, he runs in. Noel is truly on another level of planning and in the run for the smartest protagonist, evil diabolical leader of 2025. We know there's levels to this shit, but this performance put him on a league of his own. And don't worry, just as you thought it couldn't get any more diabolical, well, with Noel, it does. So Leo, being the leader of the Winged Knights, is the strongest soldier in all of the lands. He gets his team to betray him, breaks him down, cripples him, and then he recruits him. Now, he is the strongest one in the land still, but after being ousted and having to have his clan disband, Leo is not know what to do. What does Noel do? He comes to him with an open palm. That's right. The leader of the Winged Knights just got brought in to Noel's team. That's right. He set up the leader, had all the Conrads turn on him, had his number 2 man stab him in the back, essentially. They lose the battle, their clan's been disbanded, and just to put the icing on the cake, he recruits the leader, who was the strongest, being Leo, to his own clan. Diabolical. Noel from the Wild Tempest is the most notorious talker and a demon in the 2025 anime game. That last segment was a lot, but whenever you're watching, you'll see and understand what I'm talking about. But this is a sleeper anime. I finished the whole entire season 1 in a day and a half. All right, that's about 4 hours worth of anime finished out real quick. Definitely put it on your list. Definitely check it out. After you do that, come back, watch the video, comment below, tell me what you think about Noel. I think he's up there with some of the greats. This man is playing chess in the big boys game. Everybody else is playing checkers. Well, I'll see you on the next review.